So maybe Nice is really a fan of Hero. Already seeing out a super fast probe, so perhaps. But let's go into the intros. Top right, Fred Terran. It is Oriana.
And in the bottom left, we are lagging.
Okay.
I love that. Azura
I was
just joined us as an obs for this match. Instant lag. That's a great one. Bottom left-hand side, our blue Protoss player representing the Starlight Twinkle, right? It is going to be Nice.
I was really looking forward to going 0-2 today, being late and lagging out. So darn. But have to try again later. So yeah, the early probe scout. I don't know. It actually seems like a lot of Protoss are doing this. Because Hero definitely does this like instantaneous probe scout. You know, I'm not saying early probe scout isn't pylon, guys. It's like literally as soon as you spawn. And Hero loves this, but someone else was doing it in the like European regionals. Probably not Showtime, if I had to guess. But someone else was doing it, and I was like, oh, is this like picking up? And now Nice is doing it too. Which it is a huge hit to your economy. This is a really fast probe, but I guess the theory is that if you're really good microing, then it's going to hit the SEV economy as well, right? Constantly pulling on and off.
That, and I think as well, you're going to be able to get that guaranteed scout of a proxy or not, right? Because you're going to be there soon enough to see the barracks either going down or not, and you can either begin scouting super early nearby to see if it's a fake proxy or to see if it's a real proxy, and maybe that's the case here, because I think that's what happened in the European regionals. I'm blanking on who it was, but it was like the second game, and they sent this probe super quickly, and it was like, I do not want you to be doing that again, because that was a little bit too crazy. You got way too much done with the Reapers in the first game. It might have been, was it not in America? I think it happened on day one with one of the NA players, I think. But,
oh.
Yeah, I think that was, it rings bells. There's a lot of games that day. We've got a lot of games today too, so I'm sure Roddy will tell us in a couple of minutes in the stream delay. But yeah, one of those scenarios where you do just get good information off of this, and you can really use it to, you know, then adapt as necessary based on what you see.
Yeah, it does definitely guarantee. Yeah, well, that's true. I mean, unfortunately, the case is if it was going to be, for instance, a factory expand, then, you know, you might not see if it actually went up all the way to a starport, for instance, which no one really does, but just as an example, or well, popped out of the factory. But with the probe scout seeing that it was in fact a one racks expand, you know, they saw the lack of second gas, saw the actual barracks, which was positioned very oddly, by the way. Talk about the Protoss could or could not see, and it's not anything drastic, so we haven't really touched on it. But yeah, Oriana put his barracks all the way back, and I don't actually know why. I guess it will safeguard the reactor a little bit more.
I guess so, but then do you not have a tech lab that gets exposed at the front? Is that not an issue as well? Yeah, I'm not really sure. It's definitely interesting. You know, sometimes in the past it would be like, oh, well, if you build like your depot behind the mineral line, then your barracks over here, you're saving a little bit of mining time. The SCV doesn't have to run to the front, but the SCV was there to build the depot initially anyways. His first adept gets 2 SCVs, so already having some pretty good damage here so far. These couple of adepts going to turn back around, and a couple kills, not bad. A couple shots in the bunker, and already feel like Nice is doing pretty darn good damage, already up to a 7-worker lead this early in the game. Obviously, you've got that chrono boost to help you, but it's starting to be a lot.
It is, and I think Oriana also is a little more suspicious that this is a Stargate opener than a Twilight Council opener, because his Wood of Mine placement is kind of referencing that. And then the Adepts being so far what's been shown, only 2, not 3. But we know like the Adept opener so nicely goes into a Stargate follow-up, right? So there's a little bit of a misread perhaps happening, but regardless of like misreading Stargate or Twilight Council, the big problem of a misread is not realizing that it's a 4-gate blink build. You know, this was just like 2-gate into 3rd Nexus, so I'll figure it out eventually that it was Twilight Council, but this is going to be really aggressive, and Oriana, I don't know. They don't know it is on the way. I can only assume they'll go ahead and get some safety tanks, but I'm like waiting for the factory to start one up, you know.
Yeah, I mean, do anything with that factory, please. We got the gas, we got the minerals.
Come on.
I mean, this is going to be bad. It really does. The Raven's obviously one of those things that I just don't feel like helps too much against this 4-gate blink. There's a siege tank. Hurrah! We're going to get that started, but this could be a half a siege tank already, and then you know, so much closer to siege tank 2, and that's usually one of the big things here as well.
Yeah, well, that like it could have been so much faster too. I mean, if you know for a fact someone's gonna go for a 4-gate, you could literally go right into a tank. But you know, Wood of Mine into Wood of Mine, for a Widowmine drop that has to change its mind, that's even less time, right? Because Widowmine produces very quickly. But in this case, it was Widowmine, then Cyclone, which isn't really going to help against the Blink Stalkers all that much, then into a delayed tank because he was just late to building it, and then he swaps!
No, 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 no. Please stop.
Oh boy.
Pain. Stalker's going to jump into the main to start off with as well. Well, at least the tank is positioned to deal with the main and natural location. So that's a benefit. Up we go, and well, immediately that's going to be a stim cancel. It's not that far along, but it's still going to be then a delay. The Raven goes down with, okay, an auto turret that bought a few moments. We kill one Stalker, but this is already a good start because, again, it's that knock-on effect. You're not building a second siege tank here. This bunker's likely about to drop, so then there's not much to defend on the low ground, and this really feels like it's just going to be pain all around for Oriana.
Yeah. I can't believe how... blind, sure. Like, as we see Terran sometimes play blindly, they go into a Raven and 2 or 3 tanks, and then they see 4 gates on the way, so they keep producing tanks. But this was optimistically blind. This was, I don't have to worry about anything, right? It's like, well, there's a really popular build. I don't know if you had to deal with it lately. It's called a 4-gate, and it's like pretty potent. And Nice is a max pack, so I think we all agree is kind of the best with it, but I'm sure Nice can go ahead and execute such a slam dunk build order exchange as this, and already, as you said, getting so much damage done.
Yeah, I mean, not really much else to add. 8 SCVs dropping. The Marines do not have an upgrade in sight. They're getting picked away at. Now you just kind of control this natural expansion. The single siege tank on the high ground still has not been killed off this entire time, as we do scan to get rid of the obs, to get rid of some high ground vision. You can use the prism if you want to, though. We're going to pull SCVs in. This is just going to be nice. Blinks for the tank. He can take on everything. Gets the Cyclone. Marauder may be a good target, but he's just going to let his Stalkers take whatever they want to. In the end, there's going to be plenty for him, and even if he does have to blink out for a moment, the damage he's doing is going to keep on adding up. There's a new siege tank finally, but I mean, now we've got to actually defend the natural from stopping the orbital going down.
Yeah, that actually looks like it might go down. Nah, it's actually healthy enough. Healthy enough to be saved, but still in trouble. Actually, the blink forward was meant to grasp a tank shot, but it actually saw that the tank was just unsieging anyways. So, yep, blinks forward, takes that down, and that is game. Oriana playing with fire and got burnt. Just total disregard of it potentially being a 2-base, a very dedicated attack, shall we say. There was a 3rd base if Nice hadn't just ended the game right there, but it was still very dedicated 4-gate.
Yeah, extremely dedicated, just committed. Lots of Stalkers, loads of units, and, well, hey, why the heck not? Because it absolutely worked out. You just can't be that unaware as to what's going on, otherwise you're going to end up in a lot of trouble. As this is obviously going to be very good so far from Nice. I mean, just solid, easy, simple. It's the kind of way you want to start your series, especially if you feel like you're coming in as, you know, a bit of a favor and stuff. Just like, okay, you know, so far it does seem that easy. Let's just keep on with that kind of train of thought today and just get the W. Oriana just needs to know what's going on. You know, it's not about how you play or what you do. It's just know what's going on, and then you can make your decisions, because everything he did was just too late, uninformed. You know, a tank started when it could have started earlier, and he only built one. You couldn't have basically picked more problems with the build of Oriana, I guess. Yeah.
Well, it was strategically incorrect, and it was even mechanically a little bit incorrect, if we're being like really harsh, but we kind of have to with the quality of play that Nice brings to the table. You know, being 75 gas late to a tank is a pretty big deal. Or, of course, prioritizing a barracks with the minerals over that tank is also a big deal. Something else he did. So, yeah, it was overall not a good look, not something that we go, oh, but this happened and that happened, and maybe he could use this that then propel his advantage forward. No, that was a complete 100% victory for Nice from the get-go. We saw the signs. There was humongous red warning signs about a 4-gate potentially coming, and Oriana didn't even look up from the phone, you know? Like, he just didn't even want to look on the road, which needs to be fixed. Now, however, it's really difficult, I think, as a Terran player to, I don't know, to not be scared of it now, right? Like, scout, of course, scout first, and then that will probably fix some of the problems. But then I'm thinking Oriana goes directly into a 4-gate counter, you know, like instantly into building tanks, and then Nice just, like, I don't know, builds DTs and the guy doesn't get a Raven, or you know what I mean? Like, it's going to be so much of an overreaction to the 4-gate now.
Yeah, no, I can see that. It's just playing color swaps before we get into game 2. Dragon Scales as a map is I feel like meant to be kind of nice with Terran, although Pros players have let this map kind of come through a little bit more in best of threes lately, so I suppose we'll see what comes out of this one as we get ourselves ready for Dragon Scales. It is a short map, though. Usually, Terrans, what I see here is, you know, you push across the map early, you get tanks in position, and if you can just kind of shut that down early as a Protoss, you're generally in a good spot, right? Because if the Terrans commit into that kind of damage and you just shut it down, then you can find yourself in the lead. That's more easily said than done, but if there is a skill gap between these two, maybe Nice can just do that, and boom, there you have it. So we'll see what happens. Nice just needs a moment or two longer before we jump in. And yeah, potentially the last map of the first round of the Asia region. I did have an update that we're going to have matches for the next round. Not necessarily the order they'll play in, but the matches themselves will be given to us pretty much when this match ends. We'll already know what those matches are, so we might even be able to discuss those a little bit before we get into some European action a little bit further down the line today. So holding out, hoping for that, and yeah, excited to jump into Dragon Scales as now our players are ready.
Great, yeah. Of course, we're ready. We're always ready.
I told them this 3 days ago, ZG. They still want to check.
Every so often, a player asks, you know, ready, and I'm just like, oh, sweet child. Like,
Yeah.
It's been so long since I've seen a caster hold up a
like,
lobby.
like if I wasn't, I would have told you, right? Like, you know, sometimes
True,
I'm like,
true.
you know, I'm like 1 minute, but it's like my own tournament and stuff. It's like an event like this, like you good, man. We're good. So
Yeah. So I don't know if you heard, but I got locked out of the Open Cup this week.
Oh yeah.
Didn't make it into the lobby.
Oh.
Yeah. Clem DM'd me to apologize. What a sweetheart.
That was nice about
So
that.
cute.
Good
Okay,
guy,
we can go
Clem.
into the game.
All right, into the into the games, and we in the bottom right hand corner, our blue Protoss player who is up by 1. Nice.
In the top left, as the Red Terran, he is Oriana.
Super early probe again. As Nice comes across, Roddy was in fact in chat and did in fact confirm it was Trigger against Master on Babylon, and it was after a game 1 where like Master had some really cool Reaper play and stuff and did like a good amount of damage. Trigger was just like, nope, straight across the map. I am making sure you're building this barracks in your base.
You know, if you had given me a minute to think about the North America region and what Terran would have cheesed to make the Protoss paranoid, yeah, I might have actually gone eventually into Masa.
We also had
Masa likes his aggression.
We also had Future versus Disc. In fact, maybe it was the Future game that had the Reapers, but yeah, Trigger did do it against Massa. Either way, there was some combination of North American PvT that was full of Reapers and aggression, and Protoss players wanted to make sure they knew what was going on. So it made sense there. It makes sense here.
I do think of a lot of the North American Terrans as aggressive, and I also think of them as people who are they're kind of like, I don't know how to say, like they aren't full time. I mean, you can just say that because that's no longer like a secret or anything like that. Like many of them, almost all of them, are not full time. So they're kind of like going off of strategy and mind games almost, more than necessarily like I can just 3cc and build, you know, mechanically and work out. So they're usually aggressive. Oriana is coming into the underdog, just to kind of vaguely tie it into the current game, is the underdog, and yet is determined to play out a very macro game with absolutely zero confusion whatsoever as another 1-Rax expand comes down. I do feel like Nice just looks at this and licks his lips and is like, great, I can do whatever the hell I want, which is pretty true for the early game, but might change. I don't know, maybe Oriana's like a 2-base SCV puller, but we don't know because he died too soon.
Yeah, that's a good point, right? I mean, maybe the aggression here from Oriana is planned for later on, but I do think Nice has got to say, cool. Nothing weird, nothing crazy. I get that information, I can do as I wish, and this time it's going to be a Stargate. Very possible we see Oracles or Phoenix, right? I mean, Phoenix have been an absolute standard, a staple in PvT as of late, and just getting a lot of Phoenix playing into the Colossi. Sometimes Charge as well, if this does turn out to be like a more aggressive attack. Phoenix into Charge could be quite cute as well, but either way, Phoenix have been such a dominant force in this matchup. We'll see what he wants to do first, because even just one Oracle into Phoenix has been quite potent.
Yep. I have seen a lot more Phoenix Colossus builds than I feel like I was seeing a year ago. Which is weird because we were kind of at a period where it felt like the Protoss leading the charge on Protoss victories were the aggressive ones. But then it does seem like we're adding in more of the defensive play. But for the Taiwanese and Chinese region, but particularly Taiwanese, I suppose, I do think of them as Phoenix charge lot players. I mean, just thinking about some of those Katowicas and the really wacky games that would occur. But it's not going to be that. It is going to be Oracle into Blink. So the Oracle is going to reveal itself, take down that Hellion. Hellion did its job, which was to scout, basically. And it killed a probe, didn't it? Yeah.
Go Hellion. Oh, what was that? Just a Widow Mine? Blown up
was
an
that?
Adept.
That was an
an
Adept.
Adept, and a Widow Mine blew it up, and we killed a couple SCVs. Okay. That was not what I thought was going to happen in the main base of the Terran at 4 minutes, but there we have it.
Right? I'm also just kind of like, I'm catching up here. I'm rebooting. The Oracle, yeah, now, well,
I don't
that
like
might
that.
have,
Yeah.
what, to use the pulsar beam on the Widow Mine?
Okay, I said I don't like that, thinking there was a few more hurt SCVs in the main, and I thought he was going to be able to like zap down a couple one-shots after the Widow Mine splash, but that's actually not the case, so I actually am fine with him.
Okay,
Widow
okay.
Mine.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. If there was like 5 SCVs who were in the orange or red, then definitely go for it. But I was going to say that the Adept kind of helped the Oracle, right? I was like, that actually worked out kind of nicely for Nice, who now doesn't have to worry about the Oracle. I don't know to the extent of which the Adept really got a full scout on what's going on. Yeah, the scouting information is really weird now for Nice, but might realize that there's not a second Adept. Sorry, a second Widow Mine. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
And certainly sees that it is a medevac hovering over Marines. No Widow Mine in sights. I don't think it quite caught that Cyclone. Nice is proxying a gateway, guys, but also getting a third base. So
Third base, proxy
Okay.
gate, 4 gates of Blink. It's like, hey, what if I take your biggest fear from the last game and just meld it in with kind of a more normal game? It's like 4 gate Blink
Right.
worked really well, but I also want to play something a bit different, so I'll go Stargate third base while 4 gate blinking. Okay, nice. I mean, not what I've seen every day of the week, but sure, why not? He's going to have a lot of pressure to apply, and it's going to start kicking off very soon. I mean, this time there's a lot of units out from the Terran. Should be able to hold, but obviously that's with the power of 4 gate blink. You can do a lot of positional things to really take an advantage and an edge as well.
yeah, the bunker comes down as an afterthought, which would have been helpful if it was done. It's going to get canceled. This hasn't really... I don't know if you could tell, like, this is dedicated, right? It's such an odd timing for it. So Oriana, probably just figuring it is going to be a light form of harassment. Suddenly 4 more stalkers show up, though, and now it's a little bit worrisome. I don't think you're going to blink on the tank right here, right now, just reflexively blinking to tear down as many Marines and supply depots, which does supply block the Terran. And Nice will continue warping in as much as is possible while getting little bits of macro into it as well. A couple of probes, charge, forge, but still a lot of stalkers to be worried about.
Yeah, back into the natural. Oriana's moving towards the main base, trying to guess where Nice would go next, but unfortunately guessed wrong, then had to turn back around as Nice was on the natural instead. Charge on the way up, we're not far from all those bio upgrades. If those bio upgrades can complete, I don't like this Terran army at least a little bit, as Nice, you know, very stalker heavy still. Yes, charge on the way, but when will we actually start building those zealots? That's a question that remains. Oracle and Cyclone have a bit of a dance as we do get the revelation down just to keep track of units. And this time Nice is poised to go into the main.
Well, presumably there's no tank. Oh my god, he got combat shields. That was like 2 seconds away. 1 second? Half a second?
catch.
Jesus. Yeah, nice catch.
That is brutal. I thought it was completed, honestly. It was so close to being done. We instantly restart on the other tech lab. I mean, it doesn't take as long to build his stim, so it's not as devastating as losing the stim pack upgrade. And a lot of the time, stim is maybe the more important upgrade as well. It's obviously nice to have combat shield, but stim usually makes or breaks a lot of the fights that we see as stalkers just continue to harass. And I got to feel that over time, this is just going to wear Oriana down. And Nice now adding on a Templar Archives +1, teching up still back at home. Veranda Zealots just got set up as well, as maybe time to get away from this. Would have liked to see the Raven go down sooner, but yeah, Nice still just disengaging and just trying to find a couple units here and there. This time he does get the Raven, which is a nice catch too. That's a massive win.
Yeah. 8 stalkers went down. Like 6 of those in the last 10 seconds, I think. But yeah, that's still, like, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good for the Terran player. It's not terrible, I suppose, but it doesn't feel good. The scan to determine what the heck is going on is kind of indicative of that. That really is a what the heck am I up against? Because I've been contained for so long, and fortunately a Terran on 2 bases contained can still just kind of do the thing, build bio and medevacs, and probably have an okay mid game. But you don't know if you're going to Colossus, you don't know if you're running into storms, you don't know if they're about to attack you with charge lots, which are all viable options, actually. But the scan did reveal a robo. So to Oriana, he might be thinking, oh, I have plenty of time before, you know, Colossus are an issue, which would be true, but I figured Storm would be here, and it's not, Wardy. Like, a Templar Archive's just chilling.
Yeah, we built an Archon. It's not very exciting compared to what I imagined it being. We put some shots in this third. I don't think that's going to matter too much, as Nice should just be able to blink away, and Oriana is able to chase those Stalkers out of here. There is a gateway on this left side, which does spot the medevac drop heading out just before it gets taken down. Stalkers really shouldn't be fighting this. They should have blinked to get rid of the Widow Mine drop. Maybe he just did not notice it with so much going on and so much around that gateway. We do see the rest of Nice's army up the right side. Looks like he is aware of the mine drop. He is going to go hunt it now, looking to try and catch it. He saw it again for a second. He sees it one more time. It boosts away. It saved itself. Cute little save.
Yeah. All right, so that maybe does a bit of damage, which would impact the economy, no doubt about it. Their economies aren't that badly matched. In fact, they're even favoring the Terran a little bit. Third CC's down location. Double upgrades for the Terran as well. Looks nice. And damn it. But Nice, he really could have gone, I think, faster in a Storm, and then actually could have pushed with that push out onto the map with Storm. And I would have been terrified for Oriana, who, again, might be under a very false pretense that this is going into Colossus. And then, like, boom, suddenly Storms hit your army. He's got a chunky army. He's got a lot of Marauders. I guess a good number of medevacs. Could definitely be higher, but surprise Storm never feels any good. And I still think that is a fear. War Prism in the main base, apparently dropping off some Zealots. Nice, going to play with the army a little bit more, and then, I guess, drive up the middle eventually.
Yeah.
No? All right, just chilling.
Still just going around with the Stalkers, right? And I feel like this point is maybe being so long that Nice can't necessarily go for a large fight. Like, he's just way too long with what he has. I mean, I guess now with Storm, I think there's always potential, but I guess with it being Zealot Stalker, maybe he just waited a bit too long, and that's why he's kept on waiting, but he's just constantly been poking around with the Stalkers more than anything else. It's kind of a wild time as our army goes back over to the right, and we will see Nice positioning to maybe get a jump on this. Like I say, we've got the Prism now with the High Templar inside. That should have an impact. We're expecting those Storms to hit. Let's see, as we pop a Guardian Shield, we are this time 100% committing.
Yes, definitely. A couple of force fields could be good as well. Not going to slap those down. Focusing on the High Templar micro. A couple of Storms hitting a decent chunk of the army. That army on the right side does not have a medevac helping out, so this Archons actually do a ton of damage. And the War Prism available for the warp-in. The Storm just conquering that ramp. I do believe we're out of Storms at this point, but so much Protoss army is left over.
Yeah, at this stage, right, you're just going to run up here, and there's just too much Protoss to really deal with as the Terran. When you eat Storms like that, that's what's going to happen. You just lose out on your army, and then the Protoss will have a lot more than you. It's kind of obvious, kind of self-explanatory, and that's pretty much what happened. You just can't eat Storms in that sort of way. And yeah, I mean, Nice took a long time to attack, but Oriana took even longer to get any sort of real tech up and running in this game. Obviously, as you can see, was still just now about to have